Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Intuition Activation Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica, a spiritual medium and intuitive coach, and I'm so excited that you're here to join me for this intuitive development journey. Well, guys, it has been a little while since I've done a solo episode. And to be quite honest with you, I'm really happy to be back in the hot seat in front of the mic, just me and you guys diving deep into a topic. I really love doing these solo episodes. And as much as I enjoy having our guests, these ones just light me up because I really get to take the time to really dive deep into a topic and just share everything that I can to help you along your intuitive development journey. And as I'm sure you saw in the title, this episode is going to be all about dreams. And the reason I'm bringing this one forward is because I get this question so much from people. People always ask me if there's a way that they can use their dreams as a tool for intuitive development. And I have a lot of thoughts on this. And also, I think that the answers I have for you are going to surprise you. So I'm excited to share with you what it is that I have to share, at least from my own personal experience, about diving into tracking your dreams and how that can help your spiritual growth and maybe your intuitive growth as well. But before we do that, and we are going to talk about all of those things today, we're going to talk about why it's helpful for you to pay attention to your dreams, how you can go about interpreting them, how to start tracking your dreams through and how to start a dream journal. We're going to talk about if and how you can get messages from your spirit guides and or loved ones in your dreams. We're going to get into all of it today. But before we do that, I do have a quick announcement that I do want to make, which is that I am taking on a couple of new private coaching students or clients. So I have a couple of spots that have opened up. So if you are thinking about really wanting to dive deep into your intuitive development journey, maybe you feel like this is actually your path, your purpose, your mission. This is the thing that you really want to do with your life. You want to have the skills so that you can actually use your intuition as a means of serving others and helping others. Then this coaching program is for you. You get a chance to work with me one-on-one. We really work to refine your intuitive abilities and we figure out what it is that is your particular superpower that allows you to serve the world. And we really go deep into just strengthening that so that you are completely confident and able to get to a place where you can start a business doing this. So if that's something that you're thinking about, definitely reach out to me. Head over to my website at jessicarachel.co/private coaching to learn more. And there's a little form that you can fill out and we can chat a little bit more. So, and then the other thing I want to share with you guys is don't forget to stay tuned to the end of this episode. As I promise I'm going to try to do this for all of my solo episodes, which is that we're going to have an intuitive development exercise for you to try at the very end of the episode. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And the answer to the exercise will be in the show notes. If you do want to do the exercise, don't check the show notes until you listen to the exercise and then go and check the show notes to see if you were right. So I'm really excited for you to give that a try. All right, so let's dive into this episode. Let's dive into all of the things dream journaling, dream interpretation. So, I do want to start this episode by saying that I am in no way a dream interpretation expert. I have, however, taken a couple of workshops by a dream interpretation specialist. I would definitely love to have someone on this podcast who is a dream interpretation specialist. So, if you're out there listening and somebody who you think would be really good to have on the podcast, please send me a message on Instagram. I'm definitely looking for someone. The one that I took a workshop from, I can't track down. I can't seem to find her. So if you know somebody who specializes in dream interpretation, please send them my way. I would love to have an episode from somebody who does this for a living. But that being said, a lot of the information that I'm going to share today is from my limited knowledge from taking a couple of those workshops. And then the rest is just from my own experience and or from anecdotes from other intuitives or other friends of mine, students and clients as well. So it's really just mostly, as everything is on this podcast is from personal experience, and hopefully it's helpful either way. And so what I do want to say about dreams though, is that I do start all of my coaching programs or anytime that I work with a student or a client one-on-one or in a group program, week one, I advise them to start keeping a dream journal. And it's not actually for the reason that you think. So I am going to start by saying that I actually don't often use dream interpretation or your dreams as a tool for intuitive development. Instead, I actually use it as a tool for spiritual growth. And we are going to dive into can you or can you not connect to your spirit guides in your dreams? And while you can, I would say that actually your dreams instead are really a window into your subconscious mind. And they are really sort of this window into where you're getting stuck, where you're getting blocked. And so, as you go on an intuitive development journey, you're trying to strengthen and reactivate your intuitive gifts. So many people reach out to me and say, I feel like I'm right on the edge. I feel like I'm almost there, but something's blocking me. I'm stuck. I can't get it. Can't seem to do it. Something's stopping me and I am blocked. This is where your dreams become a fabulous tool because your dreams are going to show you exactly where you are blocked. It is the window into your subconscious mind. It is the window into where you are ready to heal, what you are ready to heal, and when you are ready to grow. When your body needs to release something, when your body is ready to move along or move stuck energy out, it's going to show up in your dreams. And so this is also going to be at play, whether it's something from your inner child healing that needs to happen, maybe something stuck in your shadow, or somewhere that you're blocked when you're trying to achieve any goal like intuitive development, it's going to show up in your dreams. And I'm going to talk about how this works in a moment. We're going to definitely get into all of this a little bit later. But that is sort of why I always start my everybody's intuitive development journey with keeping track of your dreams, because anytime that you feel like you might be blocked, your dreams are going to be the window to that. They're going to be the exact answer to where you're blocked and how to heal it. So I always recommend keeping track of your dreams. And I'll get into all of the things about how that works and how it works in your subconscious mind in a little bit. But I actually want to start with square one, which is how do you keep a dream journal? Why, like I tell you that this is so important. I think that anybody who's going through their intuitive development journey should keep a dream journal. So let me start with that. How do you do it? So the first thing you have to do is get a journal, a clean, fresh journal that is actually only dedicated to tracking your dreams, to writing down your dreams. Now, the reason I say that is because over time, when you are able to track your dreams, if you have other stuff mixed in there, it's going to be hard to see the progression of your subconscious mind growing, healing, and changing. So it's helpful to just have all of your dreams in one place. And it's not, and that way you can sort of see how your dreams progress over time. If you have other stuff in that same journal, it's going to be hard to track. So keep a separate journal specifically for tracking your dreams. This is something you're going to want to keep by your bed. And you're going to have to train your subconscious mind to help you start remembering your dream. A lot of us, I know for a fact that all of us dream every night. The question is, do you remember your dreams? And this is a place where you have to start to train your mind to start remembering your dreams. And that is what can be done through the process of keeping a dream journal. So the more often that you try to remember them in the morning and write them down, the more likely you're going to start to remember and the more details you're going to remember over time. So this is a practice. This is something that you have to stay consistent with for a decent amount of time before you'll remember your dreams every night. That being said, I kept a dream journal for I want to say the course of almost an entire year, maybe 8 months to a year before I now don't need to keep one because I do remember my dreams almost every single night without effort, if that makes sense. So it did take some time to train my brain to do that. But I do want to say that the remembering the dreams got improved, or my ability to remember my dreams improved over a much shorter period of time. I would say within less than a month, I was remembering my dreams much better. And there were less and less nights where I was waking up going, I don't think I had a dream. So keeping a dream journal and being consistent with it is definitely the key to remembering your dreams. So how do you do this? You keep a journal beside your bed and you have to tell your subconscious mind that you would like to remember your dreams in your sleep. So already wire your brain to think about the fact that it's going to need to remember what's happening. So this can look like connecting with your spirit guides before you go to sleep. Spirit guide, please connect with me in my sleep, or please allow me to remember my dreams when I wake up in the morning, or just tell your subconscious mind, hey, subconscious me or brain, I'm going to be wanting to write down my dreams. Please allow me to remember my dreams in the morning. And just setting that intention, saying a little prayer, if you will, asking to remember your dreams is going to help with the memory piece of it. And then what you're going to want to do is as soon as you wake up in the morning, before you do anything else. So when you're in that in between kind of sleepy space, where you're not fully conscious, but you haven't started thinking about your to-do list of that day, that's when you're going to want to write down your dreams. So don't get up and brush your teeth and go and make some coffee and sit down at the table and then try to write your dreams. By then you will have forgotten your dream. You have to write it from the moment that you wake up. So as soon as you wake up, you can write it down. Other people have told me that they have, instead of writing them, they've used a voice recorder. I want to dissuade you from that just because then it's harder to go back and sort of find different pieces of previous dreams. Again, if we're using this as a tool of spiritual growth and development, we really want to be able to go back and see how we have grown and changed and how our subconscious mind is shifting over time. You want to have it like a physical book in front of you. It's like a textbook into your own mind, the window into your subconscious. I do recommend writing it down in a journal. And that's really it. That's all you have to do to keep a dream journal is keep it beside your bed. Tell your mind that you want to remember your dreams when you wake up. And then as soon as you wake up, before you do anything else, write down anything you remember. Now, what happens if you wake up in the morning and you don't remember anything? Get into the practice of writing down something, anything. So if you didn't remember a single thing from your dreams, literally write down, I don't remember any of my dream, right? Because now you're training your brain to think, okay, she's going to write something down or he's going to write something down as soon as they wake up every morning. It's going to train your brain to start remembering. And even if you only remember a tiny, small, insignificant detail, write it down anyway. If all you remember is a color or a figure or a shadow or a very small snippet, write it down anyways, just word for word what you saw or what you remember. Write it down. And the more you start to do this grows over time and you'll remember more and more of your dreams. Likely, and remember that we have several dreams throughout a night. Okay. We're not just having one really long dream. And these dreams can feel like they're hours long when really they're only minutes. But the truth is that likely the dream that you're going to remember is the last dream that you had before you woke up. It's unlikely that you'll remember all of your dreams from throughout the night. You'll usually have at least two or three, often 3 to 5. If I'm correct on that, you'd have to fact check me on that one, but you're definitely going to have a few. So at the very least, don't get hard on yourself for not remembering all of your dream or all of your dreams. As long as you get bits and pieces, all of those act as tools of this window into your subconscious mind. So that is how you keep a dream journal. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into what I mean by this being a window into your subconscious. Why is it important to pay attention to your dreams? How do you use this as a tool for spiritual growth and even intuitive development? So I'm going by the Carl Jung lens of dream theory or dream interpretation theory, which is that your dreams are a direct window into the subconscious mind. So the program that is running in the background of your mind. So a lot of the times when we are feeling blocked about something and we can't in our conscious day figure out what it is. So let's say, for example, you are trying to achieve a goal, right? Let's say, I'm trying to think of a good example here. Let's say that the goal was weight loss, right? And you've tried everything and you feel like you've done all the trend diets and you've done all the fads and you've tried a personal trainer and you've done all the things and somehow you keep falling off the wagon and you feel like you're blocked. You're in the same pattern over and over again. You find yourself in the same endless loop and you know, okay, I must be blocked somehow, right? Something is blocking me, but I can't quite put my finger on it. My conscious mind doesn't know why I can't get to this next level, why I can't break through, why I keep going back or reverting back to old habits. This is where your subconscious mind comes into play. And your dreams are going to be the key to the feelings and the emotions or the stuck feelings and emotions, potentially inner child struggles or childhood traumas, capital T or little t, that are keeping you stuck. Things that your brain is trying to do, that your young mind is trying to do to keep you safe, that are stopping you from stepping into this next level. If you're trying to break into a new version of yourself, a new level of yourself, it can be hard to do that when there are old parts of you that have learned that they need to show up in a certain way in order to have their needs met, in order to be safe. And what you will discover in your dreams is symbols and emotions and feelings and things that are coming to the surface, ready to be healed, ready to be looked at, that you can then pay attention to and give and get a direct answer of what needs to be healed in order to break through to the other side, in order to tell yourself that it is safe to move into this uncharted territory, this new way of showing up in the world. And so that's sort of what I'm trying to, and I'm going to give a couple of examples of this so that you can understand how this works in a dream state. So for me, this happened several years ago where I was really diving deep into the world of manifestation. This was closer to the beginning of my starting this business and really wanting to call in a significant increase in my income. And I was feeling really blocked around money. And I could not, for the life of me, figure out what the block was. I couldn't figure out, and I was doing all of the things that the experts, the personal finance experts were telling me to do, right? I was creating budgets and I don't know, I guess I was creating budgets. I was trying to stick to the budgets. I was trying to invest money. I was trying to do all the things. I was giving away money for charity and like doing all of the things to help manifest money. And again, somehow I always found myself falling back into old patterns of overspending or ignoring my bank account or kind of just getting into old negative, not necessarily positive money habits. And I just couldn't figure out why I kept reverting back to my old self or this old version of myself, why I couldn't seem to break through to the other side and call in some abundance here. And it was also around this time that I had started keeping a dream journal. And there was this really disturbing dream that I kept having. And this dream was that I was in a hotel in a foreign country. Still don't know which country that was. Not sure that matters. But I was in this hotel in a foreign country and I was getting lost in this hotel. I kept going into different rooms and I couldn't find my way out of this hotel. And then I would suddenly start to be chased by, guys, this is so disgusting. I would wake up so disturbed from this dream every time, by thousands of rats. Okay. Guys, it's such a scary dream. So lost in a hotel, can't find my way out, being chased by thousands and thousands of rats. Okay. Now, what's important about this, there's a couple of things that are really important about this dream, okay? One, when we're talking, and we're going to talk a little bit more about dream interpretation, but when we're talking about dreams specifically, we always want to think about what all of these different symbols mean, okay? So what I found, or what I discovered through a bunch of internet research, because I really was like, there's got to be something about being chased by nasty rats, right? What does this mean? And I actually discovered that in most dream interpretation dictionaries, rats represent wealth or money. And so this money felt like a foreign thing to me. It felt like uncharted territory, such as staying in an uncharted territory, like staying in a foreign country, right? Or feeling lost, feeling overwhelmed by it, feeling like it was overpowering me. So if the rats represented money and they were chasing me and I was feeling lost in this place and just completely out of my depth, right? Completely out of my comfort zone in this place. So my subconscious mind was trying to tell me, this money thing you're trying to do, it does not feel safe. It feels foreign. It feels scary. It feels overwhelming. It feels like it's going to run you over, to the point where sometimes at the end of the dream, I would fall over and the thousands of rats would stampede over my body. Guys, I woke up with the heebie-jeebies every morning, every time I had this dream. It was so gross. And from tracking my dreams, I noticed that I was having this dream a lot. Like sometimes a couple times a week, I was having this dream because I was really diving into this money piece of trying to call in more money. And so once I figured this out, that this is what this dream sort of meant, I was able to dive in deep and start to reprogram this piece of my subconscious. I needed to tell my inner child, I needed to tell my I guess you wanna call it like my subconscious mind, my brain. I needed to tell my brain that it was actually safe to go into this uncharted territory, that money was my friend, that learning how to finance or to manage my personal finances is not something that is big and scary and overwhelming. I had to start to make friends with money. I had to start seeing it as something that I felt in control of, that I didn't feel was so scary and foreign and out of my control. And I had to do this with a whole lot of different exercises. It was I even wrote a letter to money, as if money was embodied as a person and what I felt about it. And I wrote this letter saying, "You feel so scary to me. You feel like you're going to run me over, that I don't know what to do with you, that you're going to beat me up." Like I had all of these terrifying fears around handling and dealing with money. And I had to go into what my inner child stories were about that. What was the messaging? that I had learned about money and what it meant for me if I had control of it. So there's a lot of reprogramming that I had to do. And there's a lot of different exercises I had to do to go ahead and reprogram that. But the key point is that I could not figure out what my block was until I started tracking my dreams and realizing that my dreams were telling me that the idea of taking control of my finances felt unsafe. It felt like I was in a foreign country and being trampled by rats. That's what it felt like. And when I did finally heal this, so after I had done a lot of work around my emotional state around taking control of my money, about I want to say it was about a month or two later, I had a follow up dream. So, as I said, these dreams will repeat. And this dream, I had the dream again, but the ending changed. And so here I am again in a foreign country, in this foreign hotel, going room to room, trying to get out, feeling scared, feeling lost, until at the very end of the dream, I saw myself turn around, pick up one of the rats by its tail, and yell, "Ha, gotcha." And in that moment at the end of the dream, I remember feeling so empowered, feeling so in control. And I remember setting in the dream, I set the rat down and he went out of a door and I found my way outside onto the street where it was sunny and beautiful. And that was the end of the dream. And it was because of that dream that I knew that I had unblocked this particular feeling around money. And that was when sort of abundance started to flow into my business too, because I started doing all of this work around it. So, this is what I mean where your dreams can really be such a tool for spiritual growth, but really any type of personal growth, because anything that is stuck in your subconscious mind is going to show up when it's ready to be healed or when you're pushing a new edge of a new version of yourself that you're trying to become. Your dreams are going to be the window to where you're getting stuck. And it's so beautiful and it's so amazing. And guys, to this day, I still use my dreams as a tool to figure out where am I blocked because they always show me. They always show me. And so when it comes to intuitive development and strengthening your intuition, if for some reason in your subconscious mind, you feel like you're almost on the edge of breaking through to the other side, being able to see your guides, hear your guides, feel your guides, but you're like, I've tried all of the things and it's just not coming through. If you're really in a journey right now of trying to unlock these intuitive abilities of yours and you're feeling stuck, pay attention to your dream because the feelings around this are going to show up in your dreams and then you can meet them at the source, heal them right from the source, and you're going to find yourself out on the other side of it and no longer blocked. And maybe you've shut down your third eye for some reason from seeing something in a past life, or maybe you had a story that you heard in childhood that it wasn't safe to channel, right? And so if there's somewhere in your subconscious mind, or maybe there's fears about your identity around this, right? Maybe it feels like everyone's going to laugh at me if I start tuning into all of this. And maybe your dreams are showing up, this feelings of embarrassment. So it's going to give you the key, the window to where you are stuck. And this is why I find dreams so amazing and so helpful. So I want to dive in a little bit deeper into how you interpret your dreams. So once you get really good at tracking them, you start to notice the patterns. You see the dreams that are popping up over and over again, the scenarios that are popping up over and over again. Maybe you've even identified, maybe now you really want to identify the blocks. Let's talk about how we do that because the truth is, dreams are wacky, right? Dreams are really highly metaphorical, super symbolic. They rarely have anything to do with reality or anything that's going on in your day to day life. But they do show you a lot of things that are going on in your subconscious mind, and your mind is representing that through pictures, images, stories, and feelings. And this is what's most important. Whatever is going on in your dream, no matter how crazy it feels, no matter the scenario, whether you're flying through the sky or going down a slide into a pile of slime, whatever it is, right? Something that maybe could never actually happen in reality. What's really important is to pay attention to how you feel in the scenario in the dream. Okay. It's almost more important to pay attention to the emotion behind what's going on than what is actually going on in your dream. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example of this. So this is something that is a very common dream scenario to happen in a dream, and it's the dream of your teeth falling out. I know I get this dream quite a bit, and it's not a fun one to have a dream of, oh my God, me as an adult, my teeth are falling out. So often in a dream, when you have a dream that your teeth are falling out, this actually can represent that you are going through a period of growth. So think of a little kid, right? When they are stepping into a new phase of childhood, their teeth fall out, right? You lose your baby teeth and you then grow in some adult teeth. It means that you're stepping into a new phase of development, a new period of growth, or a new version of yourself. You're growing up, if you will, or growing into a new version of the self. So often when that is happening, you will get a dream of your teeth falling out. But there then you need to pay attention to is, okay, there's the symbol there, right? I'm going through a period of growth. But then if I pay attention to how do I feel when my teeth are falling out in the dream? Am I feeling really confident and excited about the fact that my teeth have fallen out? Am I showing my baby teeth to all of my friends in the dream? Am I holding them out on display and saying, hey, look, my teeth have fallen out? And being really excited about this old version of the self dying off and me stepping into a new version? It's unlikely, but it's possible. More likely in the dream, you're probably feeling embarrassed, maybe fearful, wondering how other people are going to view you when you walk around toothless. Maybe you are going to feel terrified of if the rest of your teeth are going to fall out, right? Maybe you're wondering if this is who you are now, this toothless individual, right? Pay attention to how you feel in the dream. If you feel embarrassed in that dream, if you feel fearful in that dream, well, that's what's going on here. We can put those two pieces together. I am stepping into a new version of myself and I am feeling embarrassed about how people view me, right? I'm walking around in my dream keeping my mouth shut and covering my face, hoping no one will notice that I'm missing all my teeth, right? And so this really gives us a good window or a really good understanding of what's going on. If I'm trying to hit a new goal, step into a new layer of myself, and I dream that my teeth have all fallen out and I'm terrified how that makes people look at me. Well, now I know what to heal. I'm worried about how I'm perceived by others. And that's when I can start journaling about that. I can start trying to heal around that. I can start doing some help self hypnosis, writing letters to myself, mending my inner child, talking to my inner child, doing the shadow work, doing the things that I can to tell myself that I don't care what other people think, right? That it's okay to step into this new version of myself, that it's okay to be that it's safe to be this new person that I'm trying to step into, and regardless of what other people see or feel. So that's number one is when you are looking at your dreams, yes, pay attention to the scenarios because each of the pieces do have symbols and do mean something. But more importantly, what are you feeling in those scenarios? What are the emotions behind it? So that brings me to the second piece, which is interpreting the actual symbols. Now, this you don't have to do alone. And I rarely do this alone myself. You can start to think about what do these symbols represent for me, right? You can see a rabid dog and go, what does that mean for me, right? You could see a wave coming at you and maybe you get hit by a tidal wave and you can think, okay, maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed, right? Or you can see yourself treading water or maybe feeling like you're drowning and you can think, okay, it's probably a metaphor for feeling overwhelmed or maybe that I'm feeling like I'm drowning in this moment. However, honestly, the easiest thing to do is use the internet to help you with this. And in the past, I would have recommended using a dream interpretation dictionary. If you just Google those, there are tons of them online. However, I have found a new hack, which I actually find to be much more helpful, which is AI. And guys, I am no technology buff, but using ChatGPT to help interpret your dreams is such a game changer. If you type in your dream into ChatGPT, but you also include how you feel in each scenario, so in whatever's happening and say how you were feeling in the dream, you put that into ChatGPT and ask them to interpret what this could mean for you. They are incredibly accurate. It is incredibly accurate. And then what I have done is said, then ask ChatGPT afterwards, how do I begin to heal this particular block or how do I release it? And ChatGPT will spit out 3 to 5 examples of ways that you can go about healing this particular block. So from ever since I did this once, I never stopped doing it. Now, anytime I have a particular dream that's standing out to me as this is a block I need to heal, or maybe there's something in this dream was really standing out to me, I just go ahead and type it into ChatGPT. What happened? How was I feeling? Please interpret this dream for me. And they will. It's so wild and so helpful. And then it'll spit out. And then if you ask it to, it will spit out steps and ways to actually heal the thing that's blocking you. So there's my number one life hack. Use ChatGPT to interpret your dreams. But of course, if you want to go the old school way, You can use dream interpretation dictionaries. They're all online. And you can just type in, what does seeing a dead cat in your dream mean? Or what does seeing a black cat in your dream mean? So, and you can find those on Google as well. I just find that this one's so tailored to you when you do it in ChatGPT because you can add in the layer of how you're feeling when it happens. And it's pulling the internet for you and pulling it all together. So, this is a really good one. Now, the last thing that I want to share about interpreting your dreams is that there's something that you need to know, which is what happens if you dream about somebody else, right? It's one thing if you're dreaming about yourself in all of these scenarios. People always ask me if they have dreams about other people, people that they know in their dreams. Are these prophetic dreams, so dreams about the future or messages for those people? And if we're going by the Carl Jung theory of dream interpretation, my first answer would be no. I actually want you to view the dream or analyze the dream through the lens of yourself. So, what does that person represent for you? So, instead of asking, what does this mean for this person, right? What does it mean? What does that person represent for you? So, I'm going to give you examples. Say, for example, you have a dream about a random person you went to high school with, and maybe you haven't spoken to that person since high school and it's been years. It is very unlikely that you're having a dream about this person because it's your spirit guide trying to tell you to reconnect with this individual. Instead, I want you to think about what that person represented for you. When you were in high school, did you maybe perceive that individual as someone who was really selfish or judgmental of others? Did you feel negatively towards this person in some way? Did you have a very specific impression of this individual? When you see this individual in your dream, chances are that there is a version of your own shadow. So that means a part of yourself that you're trying to suppress, wanting to come out, wanting to come through, ready to be healed. So if we go back to this person you saw in high school who you perceived or you judged for being particularly selfish, then there's a version of you that is worried about being judged for being selfish. And so then perhaps as a result, what you're doing in your conscious life, in your day to day, is doing everything in your power to not project that outward. So perhaps you're in this tendency of people pleasing or putting yourself last on your priority list, being over generous to the point of exhaustion, right? You're doing everything in your power not to be seen as selfish. And therefore, this person who represents selfishness to you is showing up in your dream. And that is your subconscious mind saying, this is where you're blocked. This is why you're finding yourself in an endless loop of exhaustion. And when you start to make friends with that version of yourself, even make friends with the person who represented that version of yourselves in a metaphorical way by maybe writing a letter to them or healing a younger version of yourself or healing your inner child, healing your shadow, if you will, and telling yourself that selfish is actually a good word. Try to take the charge out of that word selfish. Try to take the judgment out of the word selfish. Flip it and reframe it to something that is actually a good thing, right? Where you start to see that being selfish is actually me being self-serving, me actually standing up for my own needs, me taking care of myself, me prioritizing myself so that I can pour into other people in a filled up way, in a way that feels whole instead of a way that feels depleting. So I always want to say, first and foremost, if somebody else is showing up in your dream, it is unlikely that the dream is about that person. It's about what that person represents as an aspect of yourself. Now, there's one other piece to this, which I rarely have had experience with, but I have had many people tell me that this has happened, which is that can your dreams be prophetic? So, can they actually tell you something about the future, something that's going to happen to someone else? And or can you get visits from your loved ones who have passed away in your dreams? Can you even connect with your spirit guides in your dream? And the answer is yes to all of the above. However, start with trying to see the dream as a version through the lens of yourself first. And if in doing so, it makes zero sense, then you can step into trying to see if this is a prophetic dream. Is it a dream that's predicting the future in some way or telling you, or a message from your spirit guide or a visit from your spirit guide? So start with connecting with yourself first. Then you can go into potentially, is this dream telling me a prediction of the future? Now, I do want to say, so that's now we can step into how does this work? Can we actually use our dreams as a tool for instead of spiritual development, but actually intuitive development? Can I speak to my loved ones in my dreams? Can I speak to my spirit guides in my dreams? Can I predict the future through my dreams? And the truth is that I don't have enough experience in using your dreams in this way as a tool to make that happen. Instead, I would say that it can happen once in a while, but I don't seem to be able to create a lot of control around it. And I don't know if it's just because I haven't tried to really try to use my dreams to get the messages to come through, or is it because I'm getting the messages through connecting to my intuition and speaking to my spirit guides in my waking life that it's less necessary. And what I mean by this is that when you are connecting with your spirit guides, when you're trying to tap into your intuition, you have to do something that's going to get you out of your thoughts, right? You're trying to move away from your chattering mind, move out of your head and into your body. And when you're asleep, you've done that already. You've moved away from your day-to-day thoughts. You've moved away from reality in some sense. And so in fact, it is actually a lot easier for your spirit guides to connect with you in your dream state because you've moved away from your overthinking mind. And so, my guess here is that if you are an individual who maybe spends way too much time in your chattering mind, spends way too much time second guessing yourself, getting into anxiety or thoughts of the fears of the past and fears of the future and or regrets of the past and fears of the future and just always in your mind space, then you're not going to, your spirit guides are going to have less luck connecting with you in the present moment in your waking life. In which case, yes, I would argue that they would probably visit you in your dreams to try and get a message across. They would try to be connecting with you in through your dreams. And there is a good chance that you may actually have an encounter with your spirit guide in your dream. Maybe they'll come and visit you and share a message with you. And the more that you learn to keep a dream journal and track your dreams, you may actually get some really deep and profound messages directly from your spirit guide in your dream. And I do have a few students who have told me that this is the case for them. I wish I could say that this was the case for me, but again, maybe it's because I connect to my spirit guides in my waking life enough that they don't feel they need to bother me in my sleep or come through in my sleep. But I haven't had many experiences like this. But again, I do know people who have. So again, it doesn't hurt to track your dreams in a way in opening it up as a means of your spirit guides connecting to you. And you can ask your spirit guides to connect to you in your dreams. Again, before you go to sleep, spirit guides, please connect with me through my dreams so that I can write it down when I wake up in the morning. And perhaps they will come through and share lots of messages for you and answer all of your questions because you're in a relaxed enough state that you can actually receive those messages. So I would definitely go ahead and give that a try. When it comes to loved ones, this one is so beautiful. I know for a fact that your loved ones will really visit you in your dreams. If you are not able to perceive them through your intuitive development journey just yet, in trying to connect with them on your own or through calling them in, they will come and hang out with you in your dreams. And I have seen this for so many people. It has only happened to me a couple of times, mostly because I'm fortunate enough to have not lost that many people who are close to me in my life. But I know a lot of people who say that their loved ones, their past parents, will just come and hang out with them in their dreams. And it's so beautiful. Often, what I've learned through my own experience and for other people is that when your loved one does visit you in your dream, they really just come to visit. They don't often have a lot to say. They really are just coming through for you guys to be in each other's presence once more. It often just feels like you're sitting side by side with them. You just feel like you're sitting there and they're sitting there and you're smiling at each other and just feeling their energy once more. They're wanting to sit with you and you're wanting to sit with them, and you just feel their loving presence in your dream. That's typically the response that I get from people when they share these stories with me is they didn't say anything. They just sat there with me. Or if you're lucky, they gave me a hug in my dream. But usually they're just sitting there and I just see their face and I just see them visiting me, but I can't actually have a conversation with them. And maybe that's has something to do with the limitations of a loved one who's passed away. Maybe they are not as vocal or verbal in your dreams as they could be if you were connecting to them through channeling. I'm not sure why that is, but I just know that for most of for anyone that I've spoken to who's had a visitation dream, it just felt like they were sitting in their space and they were just feeling their love and their presence. But again, if you are in the habit of tracking your dreams, you're more likely to have those come through more often, is my guess. And then there's the prophetic dreams, the ones that predict the future. And with those dreams, I wish I could say I've had them, but I haven't. And it sounds so cool. But I have not had any dreams that predict the future. I've definitely had situations where I have channeled things that then played out in the future, but I have not had a dream that completely played out in the future. However, I have had students and clients who have told me that exact thing has happened. If I'm going to have to go back and listen to that episode, but the one that we did with Sonia, I believe that when she was having these feelings of predicting miscarriages for women, they were happening in her dreams. And so your dreams can predict the future. But again, I always want to say start with viewing these dreams about other people through the lens of yourself first, and if it has nothing to do with yourself, then you may see that it is a dream that is predicting the future. And again, the more you track them and the more you pay attention to them, maybe the more of those you will have, which is really cool. So to say that being said, I do want to say that your dreams really can be this beautiful tool of spiritual growth, a tool for healing your shadow, for healing your inner child, for moving through somewhere that you're blocked when you're trying to step into a new version of yourself, when you're trying to step into a new layer, hit a new goal, and you're getting stuck in old habits, old patterns, and just feeling blocked. This is where I think your dreams really hold a lot of weight and can be the direct window, the direct key to the solution of where you are stuck. And then you don't even need to ask your guides. Your subconscious mind is going to tell you exactly where you are stuck, and ChatGPT if you use it. So definitely I encourage you to start connecting with your dreams, start writing them down, be consistent with it. And if you're feeling stuck in your intuitive development journey, perhaps the answer to why you're stuck is in your dreams. And so I can't wait to hear if this works for you. Definitely, if you start keeping a dream journal, don't forget to reach out to me on Instagram at I am Jessica Rachel. I want to hear your dream journal transformation and if it is an eye-opening experience for you as it has been for me. Guys, it's just so, so, so powerful to connect to your dreams and use them as a spiritual growth tool. So that's all I have to share about interpreting your dreams or keeping a dream journal. But as promised, this is a solo episode, so we are going to do a little intuitive development exercise. Now, this exercise is coming through the inspiration of the beautiful people in the intuition activation private community. The last few weeks, every time we have connected together and I ask them, what do you guys want to work on? They really want to work on being able to see their spirit guide. We seem to have a lot of attachment towards what does my spirit guide look like? And I get it because it's fun. And our spirit guides come through in these crazy, wacky characters and creatures, right? And they can look like fairies and they can look like angels and they can have all of these different costumes. And it can be so fun to want to know what your spirit guide looks like. And it can also act as confirmation for what, that your guide has come through if you see the same character come through more than once. So the other thing that I often tell people, and I say a lot on this podcast, is that it is often easier to see other people's guides over your own. It's easier to channel for other people over yourself. And so that's what we're going to do in this exercise. I'm going to walk you through a very small little meditation, and I'm going to have you actually try and connect with my main spirit guide. I have one particular spirit guide who comes through almost every time I channel. And this is my main spirit guide. I'm not going to give away any description of this spirit guide because I want you to tune into what this spirit guide looks like. And I want you to really use your imagination in this exercise. I really want you to paint a picture in your mind, even if it doesn't feel like you're seeing something, right? Seeing is sort of this feeling of it being outside of yourself. I want you to take away the words seeing a guide. I want you to insert painting a picture of the guide, conjuring up an image in your own mind. When you take control of it in that way, you're more likely to be able to quote unquote see the guide. So the goal of this exercise is in fact to see my main spirit guide. And I will write a description of this guide in the show notes for you to look at and see if you are right. So let's go ahead and do that. I want you to start by closing your eyes. And we're just going to start by taking a few deep breaths together in through your nose, filling your belly, and out through your mouth with an open mouth, powerful sigh. So, no blowing through straws here. Let's begin. Deep breath in and let it go, relaxing your chest. Deep breath in and let it go, dropping your shoulders. Deep breath in and let it go, dropping everything down. Two more. Deep breath in and release. Last one, nice and slow. Deep breath in and let it go. I want you to imagine that you're sitting at the shore of a beautiful beach at night. There's a million stars in the sky, a beautiful full moon shining down. See the moonlight as it sparkles and shimmers over the water, and hear the sounds of the waves as they gently crash against the shore. Feeling a cool, gentle breeze against your skin, and feeling the sand warm and soft beneath your legs as you settle into the sand. You feel calm, refreshed, and at peace here. Take another deep breath in and out. Now see yourself place your feet flat against the sand in front of you, feeling the warmth of the sand as you place them there and maybe covering them with a little bit of sand, feeling weighted and connected to the earth. See yourself sending a golden cord from the bottoms of each of your feet down into the very center of the earth. See these cords gathering up beautiful, brilliant, healing white light from the crystalline core of the earth and sending it all the way back up toward your body. Feeling your whole body begin to light up, vibrate, hum, and buzz as it begins to fill with this beautiful, healing, and brilliant white light. And feeling as even more of your cells begin to hum and buzz and activate this beautiful energy. And feeling your aura begin to glow and radiate this beautiful, healing, brilliant white light. Feeling yourself completely surrounded and completely filled up with beautiful, radiant, healing light. Taking one more deep breath here. And at this moment, I'm going to call upon my beautiful spirit guide to come through to offer some beautiful messages or even just an insight to help strengthen and reactivate the intuitive gifts of this audience, of you, and seeing yourself looking up at the night sky and seeing one particular star feel a little brighter than all of the others, and seeing a beautiful beam of light shine down from that star, and that beam of light, like a portal, shines down all the way onto the sand just in front of you. And gently floating down from this star is my beautiful spirit guide. Take a moment to feel this guide's energy. Maybe you can feel their personality. Maybe you can feel or sense the love that they are sending to you in this moment. See if you can make out the color of their aura, the color that surrounds them as they begin to float down closer and closer to you. And as this guide touches down on the sand in front of you, take a moment to notice the features of this guide. Are they tall or short? Maybe you can make out the features, color, shape, texture of their hair. Maybe you can notice or perceive the clothing that they are wearing or the color of it or the texture. Giving them a little scan from the toes up. What do you notice? Then try to hone in on their face and see the smiling features of this guide's face. Maybe perceiving the color of their eyes. Are they smiling or serious? Feeling the energy of this guide. Tuning into their personality. What do they feel like? Are they soft and nurturing or serious and grounded? What does this guide feel like to you? And maybe if you can, take a moment to just see if there's just one word the guide wants to say to you. Whether you know it or hear it, it doesn't matter. See what comes through. And then just take a moment to thank my beautiful guide for coming through in your intuitive development process. When you're ready, take a deep breath to let them go. And open your eyes and come back into the room. So don't forget to check the show notes to see what it is that my spirit guide looks like. I'm going to give the personality of the guide and what they look like in the show notes for you to confirm. And I will try my best to offer the one word that maybe they said, but I'm going to guess that the word they'll give is going to be different for each person. So feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at I am Jessica Rachel and let me know, did you get it right? What word did my spirit guide say to you? And what did they look like? And I can't wait to hear from you and hear how it went. If you got it right, don't hesitate to send it over to me. I want to celebrate with you. And I'm going to say have a beautiful rest of the week. That's it for this episode. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Bye.